Hi, I'm Nick Bolton, the founder of Animas Centre for Coaching. Now in this video I want to explore a concept that sits right at the heart of transformative coaching, and that's the emergent principle. Emergence is a word that gets used quite a lot in coaching circles, but when we really look at it closely, it opens up a completely different way of understanding how change happens and what the coaching process enables. So when most people think about change, they imagine it as something kind of planned and structured and something you can control. You set a goal, you break it down into steps, and you work towards it. And of course, there are times when that is incredibly useful. But human beings don't always work in such straight lines. Our inner lives don't unfold according to project plans. And some of the most meaningful insights we experience are the ones that we couldn't really have predicted at all. Emergence speaks to that deeper, more organic process. It's the recognition that new understanding doesn't always come from pushing harder and pushing in a straight line. It comes often from the right kind of space, giving the right kind of conditions and allowing something previously unseen to reveal itself. In coaching, emergence is what happens when clients begin to access thoughts, feelings and perspectives and possibilities that perhaps they couldn't have reached through linear thinking alone. It's that moment where something just clicks or something comes into view, not in a way that follows logically from what came before, but because the space allowed it. And this is why how the coach holds the session matters so much. To work with emergence, we have to hold things lightly. We have to let go of our attachments to outcomes and goals, or to clever questions, or our need to guide the conversation to a particular place. When we grip the process too tightly, we close down the very space where emergence occurs. But when we relax the grip, when we settle into not knowing, into curiosity, into openness, the coaching session becomes a kind of living inquiry. The conversation can move into unexpected directions. The client can discover ideas they didn't know they even had. An insight becomes less a target and more of an unfolding. The lightness is not passive, by the way. It's not vague or unstructured. It's intentional. It's spacious. It's the discipline of making room for the client's inner world to surface on its own terms. And it's grounded in a deep trust. Trust that the client is inherently oriented towards growth. Trust that meaning will arise if we don't crowd it out with our own thoughts. And trust that the unknown is not a void to be filled, but a landscape to be explored. You might think of emergence like watching a picture slowly emerge from in a developing tray. If you try to rush it, you ruin the image. But if you stay present, patient, curious, what needs to be seen gradually reveals itself. And in coaching, this often leads to insights that are way more powerful than anything you could have come up with if you had a logical flow. In addition, when something emerges naturally, it carries a greater sense of ownership. The client recognizes it as their own truth, not something they were funneled into through a logical process. From that place, change feels less like effort and more like alignment with what already is. This way of working also honors complexity. Human beings are shaped by layers of experience, psychological, relational, cultural, systemic. Emergence allows these layers to interact without forcing them into a neat, linear narrative. It makes space for nuance, for contradiction and discovery. It creates a coaching journey that feels alive, not predetermined, not processed, not formulaic, but responsive to each moment of the client's unfolding and awareness. So when we talk about emergence in coaching, we're really talking about a stance, a way of being with someone that honors the simple truth that human change is not a mechanical process, it's an organic one. And when we allow it time to emerge on its own, it often takes us somewhere far more meaningful than we could have planned. And that is the beauty of emergence. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.